This is Lisa Hazard with the podcast We're All Psychic. So today, for this video podcast, I am going to introduce the topic of starseeds and the galactic existence of other aliens. Other aliens. We're aliens to them, so they're other aliens. We're aliens. They're aliens. A lot of people believe in this, and I've found a lot of interesting things when I've been researching starseeds and indigo children and what they are. And there are people who channel these galactic beings that are all over our galaxy. So what's this about? If you've never heard of it, it's a lot like Ancient Aliens, if you've ever seen that TV show on the History Channel. So I'm not an expert on this at all by any means. I imagine there are a lot of people who are experts, and I've watched some of their videos on YouTube. They're fascinating. So I would like to try to talk about this with the help of Mystic Martian Oracle. I think that's backwards. I'll have to figure that part out with my camera some other day. But what you need to know is this tarot deck, or it's an oracle deck. This is going to help me explain a little bit about the stories that go behind the starseeds. So basically, we'll look at this card, the starseed card. So what is a starseed? It's considered somebody, a human being, who is either born that way, a starseed, or they are sometimes there are something called walk-ins. Walk-ins are like different types of aliens or spirits who will take over a body and live in it. And but with the starseed, what it is I think in the 70s, the starseeds became popular. And that's like some children were born and they said, well, they're going to change something someday. They're going to bring about an ascension. And then in the next generation, I think in the 80s, they called it indigo children. And that was like the next generation of starseeds went into indigo children. And they were here to do the same thing as the starseeds, help human race evolve spiritually. And the ultimate goal is to vibrate at a higher frequency so that we can get into the fifth dimension or other dimensions. So that's how we are supposed to communicate with all these starseed aliens all over the galaxy. So after the indigo children, if I'm remembering correctly, we had rainbow children in the 90s and then crystal children in the 2000s. And they all have the same purpose. And according to lore, from starseed to indigo to rainbow to crystal, they are a little more psychic. And the starseed part has to do with these children having DNA from some of these ancient alien races who supposedly may have seeded the planet a long time ago. Some of the beliefs are that, say, maybe it was Atlantis. Atlantis was a thriving society. And a lot of people believe that the people of Atlantis worked closely with these aliens from other races. And hi, Einstein. Einstein might join us. He's a little alien. So in these ancient times, if it was Atlantis or not, there are theories that either aliens came and mated with humans or earlier types of humans. Some people think the aliens are the humans. Some people believe that we are walking around with alien DNA, such as Lyran DNA. This is one. Lyrans are from the Lyran, the Lyra star system, if you know what that is. They're known, we'll start with the Lyrans. It was the card that was standing out. So, but these guys are pretty good. They're like one of the first, from what I understand, of the galactic races in our galaxy who, they were like most advanced first, from what I understand. And, there were avian Lyrans and there were feline Lyrans. So we have cat people and bird people from there. They're both that kind of humanoid. All these are mostly humanoid of some sort. And that's what the Lyrans are about. And on this card, it says they're about strength, courage, and bravery. And you know what? If I remember correctly in my reading, the Lyrans they were involved in a very big galactic war. And they moved to the Pleiades. So, of course, we got to talk about the Pleiadians. So Pleiadians are one that you may have heard of before if you're at all familiar with the Starseeds or with the ancient alien theories. The Pleiadians are from the Pleiades, the seven sisters in the sky. And they're unconditional love, excitement, laughter, it says on the card. The Pleiadians are probably, for most people who are familiar with this topic, they are the ones who come through for channelers the most. They want to help the people. From what I understand, they are descendants of Lyrans, and they are closer descendants to us than the Lyrans. So we also have the Sirians, and I have 2 cards for the Sirians here. So the Sirians come from Sirius star system, or around that star. And they're the good guys. You know, they are supposed to have done a ton of good stuff for the humans. In the tarot, in this oracle book, guidebook, kind of describes them a little differently. I didn't know there were 2 different kinds, but they're really tall. And they are supposed to be one of the originals, like the Lyrans, to come and do stuff for us and help us out. They've been through all the ancient cultures, and they are known for, in the lore, for being the guardians of the crystal skulls. And you've heard me talk about the crystal skulls before on our crystal working podcast. And then we've got, of course, don't forget these guys, the Greys. So, you know, the Greys, everybody's heard of the Greys. Well, they're real, according to a lot of people. And they are surgeons. They're considered kind of bad guys most of the time, but they're really just doing their job, from what I understand. So, but the ones you kind of want to watch out for, and I think you might have heard of these guys before, the reptilians. So in the lore of the Starseeds and of the ancient alien theories, the reptilians are the ones who are, well, predator, survival, tyrannical. They're like, you may have heard people say they've seen people whose faces turned into lizards or their eyes turned into lizard eyes. There's a lot of fear around this reptilian race. And they're supposed to be people disguised, or they're disguised as people. And they go around doing bad things, according to what I've read and what I've heard. And everybody I know personally who says they've seen a reptilian were terrified. They were terrified of them when they met them or saw the face change. So I don't know. It was pretty scary stuff. And then we have the Andromedans. They're from Andromeda's star system. They are autonomy, free will, manifestation. So they have visited us just like the other ones, and they have an opinion. According to the guidebook, and from what I've read, they think we should just figure it out ourselves. These guys are especially evolved. They live on a very high frequency, or very high, or they have access to all the dimensions. They don't use crafts to travel. Although from what I understand, with most of the aliens races, they don't. They travel through the dimensions. They travel astrally. They don't get on a spaceship and come see us. They have other ways to do it. But the Andromedans, I think they're one of the first ones that were supposed to ever even find Earth. And they are supposed to just watch out for us. Make sure we're not doing anything too bad. But they kind of want everybody else to leave us alone sometimes, from what I understand. And for the last one there's a lot of cards in this deck, but the last one I really want to go over is the Galactic Federation. So these guys are different aliens and humans. They communicate on a lot of different levels, interdimensionally, telepathically, astrally, and on ships. And they are making sure that the bad guys don't take over, because there were a lot of wars. If you read it, if you do some Google searches into this, you'll find out there were a lot of these galactic wars. And so these guys got together, and they're trying to make it not happen anymore. And they're also kind of fielding everybody's ascension into the higher dimensions. And they assist by not assisting. They want people to evolve their own way, although they'll stop the bad guys. So I'm doing this video podcast and audio if you're just listening for in preparation for another interview with Angelina. She was one of the very first guests I think I had a long time ago. And we've stayed in touch, and she's just amazing. She actually has the capacity to channel some of these aliens. And she's going to show us and teach us what she has learned from them and what she knows about them in a podcast coming up. So we're interviewing her on Saturday in the morning, and we'll have a lot more information about all kinds of this stuff. She has a lot more information than I do, I think, as far as what she's been able to find out through actually channeling them and communicating with them. So, you know what, listeners, this is one of my favorite topics. I haven't really discussed it much, but I've always read about this stuff all my life. I've had a lot of curiosity about it. So I hope you do too. And I hope this very short podcast, I don't know how long it'll be. It's kind of chopped up a little bit right now, but I hope this gave you something to kind of think about. Like, what's up with that? I mean, this is like, why not? What if it is? What if this is the highway it is? Because we don't have a link with the human genome where we went from one to Homo sapiens. We have a lot of links, but we don't have this one big missing link. And the ancient alien theories explain that link, a lot of people think. What do you think? So I'd like to thank my sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you get your advice from psychics and empaths, so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. That's everclear.com. And lastly, I want to thank you listeners and watchers, if you're watching, for always listening and watching. And thank you so much for doing that. And thank you, Misty. She couldn't be here today. She's not feeling too well, but she's always here in spirit. That's why the podcast exists. So thank you so much again, and have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever you're doing. Have a good one. Goodbye.